Today, and our guests in the back from 4 different school districts. Welcome to Jackson and our state school board meeting. I would like to remind everyone at this point to please either cut off or silence your cell phones. Also, this meeting is live streamed. It looks like to me that Mr. McGehee is working on a Hallmark movie somewhere in North Carolina with that fine Christmas background he's on. And I guess they can't see me yet or hear me yet. So, there you go. There. Dr. McGehee. And then Billie Jean as well. We'll get them to announce themselves and their place shortly. So this is Mississippi Board of Education. This is December the 19th, 2024. It's 10 o'clock a.m. We're on the 4th floor boardroom at Central High School building, the Mississippi Department of Education, which is located at 359 Northwest Street, Jackson, Mississippi. Again, please be reminded to turn off those cell phones. At this point, I'd like to ask, Ronnie McGehee, if you'll wave your hand and tell us where you are, sir. Give me the word, Tamula.
Dr. McGehee, you can't hear us? Ms. Stroud, can you hear us?
We'll take a breather here for a second to make sure we're official.
See, now I immediately, if I were there, I would think it would be my fault that I did something that he shouldn't have done.
All right.
Yeah, and I'll be pressing it.
Please feel free to talk amongst yourselves for the next 30 seconds or so. The silence is too deafening right now. Charging this to your time, too, by the way.
Welcome to AT&T teleconference service. Please enter.
Thank you, Tamla. So we do know that Dr. McGehee and Ms. Stroud will be joining us as quickly as possible. At this point, I'd like to ask Mike Pruitt to lead us in the pledge and Matt Mayo to lead us in our invocation.
Please stand and join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You would pray with me. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to join together. We thank you for this wonderful time of year and celebrate the birth of your son, Jesus. We just ask that you bless this business that we do today on behalf of the State Board of Education and all those that represented here. Pray these in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign.
I'm so glad I came down in person.
To join the conference as the host, press star. Otherwise, please enter your host password, followed by the pound sign. There are 1 participants on the call, including you. You are joining your conference as the host. For a menu. Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign.
Just need you to announce where you're located at this point for our minutes. Billie Jean, if you can just tell us where you are at this point, city, state.
You're muted.
Yes, Billie Jean Stroud, Milwaukee, Mississippi.
Very good. Please make sure Ms. McGee finds a way on as we move forward. Members, you have before you the November 7th, 2024 board meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept them.
Very good. Mary Warner. Second, Bill Jacobs. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Billie Jean's an aye as well. You also have before you the agenda for today's meeting. May I have a motion to approve that agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Mayo? Second?
Second.
Mr. Miller? Any questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Are there any items on the consent agenda that you wish to pull out for discussion at today's meeting? All right.
Move we approve the consent agenda? Approve it now, the agenda?
That's where we're heading to right now. May I have a motion to approve the, hold on just a second, guys. Yep. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please? Mr. Mayu? Jacobs? Before we go on, we'll tell our guests that we receive well before this board meeting information that we get to go over, study, and if we have any questions, we call the director or the state superintendent regarding those issues. So we're able to do a lot of our meeting more quickly for your services and us as well. All right, we have a wonderful program today, beginning with the 2024 National Blue Ribbon Schools for our state. Ms. Cook, you're on
right.
board.
Good morning, Mr. East, Dr. Evans, and State Board members. Today, we are recognizing Mississippi's National Blue Ribbon Schools for 2024. The U.S. Department of Education grants this designation annually to schools across the country that are among the highest performing in their state or have made the most significant progress in closing achievement gaps. Only 356 schools in the United States earned the National Blue Ribbon status in 2024. This award is truly a badge of honor for the schools. The program recognizes schools in one of two categories. The first is exemplary high-performing schools. These are among the state's highest-performing schools on state assessments or nationally normed tests. And the other category is exemplary achievement gap closing schools. And these are among the state's highest-performing schools in closing achievement gaps between a school's student groups and all students. And we are proud to have 2 Mississippi schools in each of these categories. So the first will recognize the exemplary high-performing schools. And the first school is Magnolia Park Elementary School in the Ocean Springs School District. And I invite Ocean Springs School District Superintendent Mike Lindsay to the front of the boardroom. Magnolia Park consistently earns an A rating with English language arts and proficiency rates that exceed statewide averages. The school has a supportive community of stakeholders, innovative and data-driven teachers, inclusive classrooms, memorable learning experiences, and at Magnolia Park, recess is treated as a right, not a privilege. So, Mr. Lindsay, you are welcome to make remarks at this time.
I just want to thank you for taking the time to recognize Magnolia Park, and I'm here on behalf of Ms. Allison Graham, Magnolia Park principal. As you know, this is a testament to where dedication and work ethic and amazing teachers, that spirit of collaboration between us and our community, and most importantly, our amazing kids. So all the credit goes to them, and we've been celebrating our kids for the last 4 months and excited about this honor. So thank you for recognizing. Board, thank you for your service. And to MDE, Mississippi Department of Education, thank you for your past support and your continued support. We appreciate y'all's support. Thank you.
The next school is Mansdale Upper Elementary School in the Madison County School District. I invite Principal Dr. Nicole Cockrell to the front of the boardroom. Okay. Mansdale Upper Elementary School is the first elementary school in the state to be recognized as a school of innovation. In 2023, you may remember the school's 4th graders successfully petitioned the state legislature to designate the blueberry as the state fruit. Among the school's various clubs and organizations is the Leadership Academy for 5th graders, who demonstrate leadership through academics and community service. And students in this program receive the Governor's Initiative for Volunteer Excellence Award for their service leadership. The school also offers 2 specialized programs to support academic growth: Mavs on the Move, that provides advanced math and English classes, and the Pathways Gifted program that provides hands-on learning to encourage creative thinking. Overall, Mansdale Upper Elementary School empowers teachers to be leaders and is committed to creating a safe, caring environment that fosters healthy bodies, minds, and characters. Dr. Cockrell, you're welcome to make remarks at this time.
Thank you guys for acknowledging our hard work and recognizing us for all the things that we do at Mansdale Upper. We do it from a place of heart because we love what we do. And even when teachers come in to interview, I ask the first question is, do you love kids? Because if you don't love kids, you can't do this work, because it's the hands and feet of what we do. I have amazing teachers and staff, and I've had the opportunity to work with them in the role as a literacy specialist all the way up through AP to P. And so it's just been an honor to celebrate with them, and we have celebrated since the announcement has been made, and we have been going blue all year. And so again, thank you guys for the recognition today, as well as the just nominating us for it. I mean, the work was a lot to fill out the paperwork, but I enjoyed it, and we have enjoyed celebrating. So thank you guys.
Now we will recognize the exemplary achievement gap closing schools, and the first school is Ripley High School in the South Tippah School District, and I invite Principal Anita Hood to the front of the boardroom. Oh, you're not Anita Hood?
I'm voting.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay. Ripley High School has been an A-rated school for the past 3 years. It is the number 10 ranked high school in the state with a 98% graduation rate. Ripley High School has a diverse population of students, including almost 20% whose native language is not English. And more than 50% of Ripley High School students take dual credit courses through the community college. So you're welcome to introduce yourself and make remarks at
Thank
times.
you.
I know you're the former principal.
I'm Bud Buchanan. I
Yeah.
was fortunate enough to be the principal at the time of nomination. I'm very humbled and honored to be here and accept this award on behalf of the Ripley High School and the South Tippah School District. I'd like to thank the Mississippi State Board of Education and MDE for allowing us to be here and recognizing us today. I have to recognize some of the people here in the back that came with me. Mr. Tony Elliott is our superintendent. Could you stand, please, and be recognized? I'd like to thank him for allowing us to do our job, trusting us, knowing that we're going to take care of things there at Ripley High School. Miss Anita Hood, who is now the current principal at Ripley High School, but I was the principal there for 10 years. She was my assistant principal all 10 years. Miss Leslie Stroop, who is the guidance counselor, and also Miss Jennifer Huddleston, who is a teacher there at Ripley High School. We have a team-oriented mindset at Ripley High School. I guess I'm an assistant superintendent, but I can still say we. And I realized early on being the principal, it was, we had to have a team to accomplish the things that we wanted to accomplish. We went there at Ripley High School for never being an A under any accountability or under any state model. We've been an A the last 3 years. So great community, great kids, blue-collar kids, and blue-collar staff. Thank y'all.
And the final school is Stone Elementary School in the Stone County School District, and I invite Principal Sandy Danzy to the front of the boardroom. Stone Elementary consistently earns an A rating. Students achieved 70% or higher in proficiency rates in all tested subjects. The school received the Mississippi Whole School Arts in Classroom grant, and the school incorporates a performing arts, choir, anthropology, and visual arts for all students for a diverse background. And Stone Elementary hosts a monthly Culture Arts Day to help students see the world from different perspectives, to build empathy and appreciation for others. Ms. Danzy, you're welcome to make remarks at this time.
I want to thank all of you, the state board, Dr. Evans. I would like to thank all of you for recognizing us, even for not, like they said, for nominating us. It is an honor just to be nominated, but to receive it is outstanding. But there are, I get emotional. There are a lot of people I need to thank at this time. My sister, Miss Sue Ladner, she is here. When I lost my mom, she became a mom. My daughter, McKenna Danzy, is here. She is an inspiration. Mr. West, our current superintendent, who is allowing me to continue what my vision was, but I have to recognize our former superintendent, Miss Anita Owen, who let me do what I needed to do for these kids. But this is not about me. This is about my students and my staff. And I wish I could bring them all with me, because this is the reason we did it. I had a vision, and I went in with a vision, and they took that vision and they ran with it. And it is all about the students, to empower them to be their best. And when you do this, this is what the recognition is. This is about them, because they want to be their best every day. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and it is with a great honor that we accept this on behalf of the Mississippi State Board and Education.
I guess many of you heard the joke. If you've never done the paperwork for this, it is a great deal. And as the guys leave, please notice the ladies wore their blue outfits today, so next time maybe a blue tie or something would be apropos. Please feel free that if you do want to depart, take this moment to do that. Several of you have driven a long way. At this point, we have the report of the state superintendent.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Again, like I guess 5 months or 6 months before, it's been a very, very busy month. Just want to give you a breakdown. We did have, we had our first ever, well, actually, I think they've done it several years ago, a meeting of all the superintendents where we brought all of them in across the entire state. We only had just a handful that had some type of conflict. And I will say, I do appreciate the fact that anyone who had a conflict reached out. So that let me know they appreciated the invitation for to come, and we did also get all the information that we provided for everyone else. We sent that out to everybody, so they had it. But I want to thank Mr. Glenn East, Dr. Rhonda McGehee, and Mr. Mike Pruitt for joining on December the 3rd. They drove up to participate in that. Of course, Mr. East is a superintendent. He serves 2 roles, we know there. That day he was in the role of superintendent. He made sure I knew that, so I appreciated that. A couple of things that we did. We provided information in preparation for the upcoming legislative session. It's a twofold piece that we'll do every year. It's the preparation for the legislative session piece, but it's also I had several people say it was like an open house because we had thank you to Dr. J. Rowe and Mississippi State for providing it was an outstanding spread, if you will, of food for all of our superintendents and the participants. And at that point, after that, all the superintendents, they went, and it was, like I said, it was an open house. We had all of our people standing at their doors, outside of their different shops, as we refer to them as. My goal was to make sure that people put a name with a face, and it makes a difference when you know who that person is on the other side of the email. Because, you know, as you know me, I'm very much so geared up around a very service-based mindset, and it helps when that relationship is there. But again, want to thank Provost and Executive President Dr. David Shaw from Mississippi State for being here, as well as Associate President of Enrollment John Dickerson, and again, I've already thanked Dr. J. Rowe for her providing those refreshments. I'll tell you the next College of Ed that does that for us next year, because I'm sure someone will want to, they've got some big shoes to fill, because she did an awesome job there. From a legislative standpoint, we have been, Ms. Holly Spivey and I have been working to get the groundwork, if you will, laid. We've had individual meetings with Senate Ed Chair Dennis DeBar, House Ed Chair Rob Robertson, and Vice Chair Kent McCarty, as well as meetings with the Speaker, Jason White, Representative Donnie Bell, Steve Massengill. We have previously met with the Lieutenant Governor before last month on some of the pieces that are associated there. We've also had some workforce development collaboration meetings between the department and Accelerate and the people that were there. Again, Representative Donnie Bell, who chairs that on the House side. Senator Sparks, he's on the Senate side. He wasn't at that meeting, but he and I actually on a regular basis have conversations about things that are taking place. I really appreciate the relationships that we've been able to forge with our legislators during this last 6 months. And actually, it started. We started that the last session, so there was a lot of work that went into that. Also in that meeting, we had the House Speaker Education Education and Workforce Policy Advisor Cole Butler. He was here, so I appreciate that. And one other thing, the Accountability Task Force meetings, we're having our House and Senate Ed representation come over. I've appreciated them being here. They spent 90% of the day with us at our last Accountability Task Force meeting. I think that speaks volumes for the relationship because they're driving from all over the state to be here, and I appreciate them taking that time. We did deliver on time, actually a little ahead of schedule, our ACT report we put together for the Senate. That's who commissioned it last year for us. Just a little information in the report. Obviously, the focus of it was taking a deep dive into using the ACT as a required assessment for the state of Mississippi in lieu of the current accountability model. Some of the pieces in the report, we engaged with Alabama, Nebraska, Nevada, and Wyoming in their approach and how they've operated. We recorded all those meetings so that the Zoom meetings that we did, or I'm sorry, Teams, meetings that we did. We are a Microsoft organization, so I have to specify that. So if any of you wanted to look at it or listen to them, we did that so that our legislators would have the opportunity to do that as well. We wanted to take an independent approach to it so that it wasn't just us, that we brought in the other states. In that, some of the states reported some of the benefits as well as some of the challenges of using the ACT as their state assessment. But what I would tell you that overwhelmingly, most reported the challenges, and those really centered around measuring growth and the alignment with their state standards was some of the biggest challenges that were associated with it. Had met with the Secretary of State, Michael Watson, on the Maxwell Leadership Foundation. His office is looking at potentially putting some pieces in place to help from using the Maxwell Leadership Organization statewide. We're working with him in his office. He's been extremely supportive too during this transition. We've met with him several times. He's geared up around trying to help do everything he can for our K-12 world. Some of the partnerships and stakeholder meetings. We also had, I guess it was Monday or Tuesday. My days run together. I think it was Tuesday. No, it was Monday. It was Tuesday. Thank you. I'm struggling with the days, aren't I? So we have been working towards putting a superintendent certification in the state of Mississippi. So we had, and we're titled, in the title of the name of the program, if you will be the Mississippi Superintendent's Institute. And the way this is set up is it's not in competition with any of the prospective superintendent programming that we have in the state. This will be a program that once you're hired in your first year, you have to go through. And just like we have an administrative certification, it's in addition to your teaching certification in Mississippi, this will be a required certification for the superintendency. And through the generous donation of the Hardin Foundation, they have funded this work. That we truly appreciate. I've always, in my previous years, I've been very intentional about creating partnerships with private business and industry and different organizations. And this is this was the first one that we were able to move forward with. So they're a very, very generous donation to help us provide that work. Moving forward, I'll give you some more information there. The meeting was an advisory team meeting. It was around 20 people that were here that were pulled for specific purposes. It'll be, the construction of it will contain 10, 11, 12 modules. The primary purpose of this group is to develop Mississippi-specific modules that'll be embedded in it. So it's all a research-based approach that looks at education from a nationwide standpoint, then drilling down to the individual pieces in Mississippi specifically. So very excited about that work. So, and as we go, we'll inform obviously you, as well as inform you on potential board policy that needs to be tweaked, if you will, or put into place to make it successful. We've had a very positive response to it statewide. Had an accountability task force meeting. In that accountability task force meeting, Dr. McGehee was here as the chairman of State Board Accountability State Board of Education Accountability Subcommittee. Too many words that were rolling together. Also, Mississippi School Board Association had a meeting there working to implement some processes, working with our local school boards and the department, and just streamlining some of those processes to outline some expectations, helping drive, because we are obviously the accrediting body that works with our districts, and laying out some expectations that are there. A lot of support on MSBA's side for that. They're actually helping. I feel like we're 50-50 right there, pushing that work forward. So very excited about that. Had a meeting with the Mississippi Community College Board presidents. They've also been extremely supportive in the transition. The goal there, or excuse me, what we did in this meeting is we were discussing, we're looking at creating a performance-based avenue for graduation. So it would be en route to a traditional Mississippi high school diploma, but it's a way for us to get a high school diploma to a student, not diminish any of the expectations or the standards that we have in the case that we have a student who does not pass one of our end of course assessments. So this is something that's been very important to me. I think that it's very important to me that when a student enrolls in our program, our public ed program, and he or she spends 12, 13 years with us, that in the end, if they do not pass one of our assessments, that we do not give them a diploma, that it's a pat on the back and here you go into life. So and then we'll bring this information back to you and get your feedback on it, but it'll be a performance-based piece. It'll be directly aligned back to the workforce and their specific career interest. And it's something that will be a piece that they will only be able to enroll in the second semester of their senior year. So it's I'm going to refer to it as a last resort. And it also has the preliminary pieces have lots of expectations from a district standpoint to make sure that the remediation pieces have happened. So the quality and the expectation and the standard we have set in Mississippi will not be lowered. That's very important to me, that nothing we do lowers our standards. But it is an avenue for success for our students. And it also creates a pathway so that the very unfortunate incident we had with assessment last year, the students that got caught in that, this would have been a pathway for them. So it's very, very important to me that we get that worked out. So also meeting with the Mississippi Rural Educator Association, and that's a partnership between William Carey and Mississippi State. Meeting with the Mississippi Council of Economic Education Committee, talking through some pieces there, as well as the Mississippi Excellence and Coaching Program, which is a program that's based out of Ole Miss that works in conjunction with MHSAA, where they take about 25 people a year, put them in a cohort. I spoke at their graduation last year. It's a great organization. Actually, we were looking at part of the conversation with Dr. Hunter, who leads that work, is how do we take the processes they have in place to build out an administrative mentorship program? Because our goal as a department is to become, again, the hub for leadership training in Mississippi. That has fallen off over the past years, and for us, we know that one of the top 3 reasons people leave the field is leadership. So why in the world are we not focusing on leadership? It's common sense, right? So our goal is to become that linchpin, if you will, for the state. Couple, and I'm rushing through, I'm sorry, I know I'm taking a lot of time, but speaking engagements, spoke at the Louisville Rotary Club. I have made sure that anytime someone asks me to come speak, no matter how big or how small the group is, if it's at all possible, I do it. Because it's, like I said earlier, Mississippi is a relationship state, and it's very important that they understand we're all on the same page. And because it's these groups, these local groups, these Rotary clubs, if you've ever been in one, you realize the far-reaching impact that those conversations can have, because these people typically are connected to lots of other people in their communities. So Louisville Rotary Club spoke on 2 national panels about the Mississippi Student Funding Formula. Did that at ECS, the Winter Commissioners Meeting, as well as the Learning Learning Policy Institute webinar. There was about 500 people there that logged into that. And the ECS spoke in combination with the member of the Colorado House of Representatives. They're looking at changing their funding formula. And then the Learning Policy Institute webinar was partnered up with a state senator from Delaware in that conversation as well. Also had some district visits. I try to tie those in as any time that I can. Went to Pontotoc City Schools, and they have a very impressive immersion program for their EL students that we're going to bring our team to them so that we can learn from them, because that's very important that we're learning from the field, that not that we're just handing it down to the field. So also I visited Lake Elementary School. They had an A-rated celebration. It's in the Scott County School District. It was a sneaker ball. It was I told him, I said, it's the first time I've ever put a pair of tennis shoes on with a suit. So that was a first for me. But that's in a nutshell, that's the month. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Evans. Let me begin by just saying, as we come to the close of 2024, I want to thank the staff and the board for the work that we put in, not only this fiscal year, but this entire year moving forward into 2025. You never realize how much goes on inside this building until you walk around and see, and the number of people that are working to make this place a good place that supports the children of the state of Mississippi. So have a great little break, and thank you very much for what you do for the children of our state. I also want to take a moment and say MSIS 2.0. Where's John? I thank you very much, and the superintendents I know that I've spoken with, for the lack of rigidity and how we have been able to work through those issues and learn and grow. Anytime you have something new and as large as that, there are going to be snafus. And John and your team and others on the department's team have made that a good process by being very supportive and making sure deadlines and so on and so forth were extended and to help everything work out. That's very powerful. And we still have a few more steps to go, and we know there'll be some snafus as there are with anything like that. But thank you very much for making that work for the school districts across our state. I also want to close with this one thought, that as we leave here today and the seasons of joy that we're in, we do have a lot of students across the state that may not have the Christmas that we would probably be trying to provide our own children. So as you go back in your communities, remember that. Try to support any organization that is helping to take care of our students in Mississippi. I think this season is just important in that aspect. And I know, knowing the people around this table and the people that are sitting here today, we're so giving of ourselves to our children through education. And I know that it's on our minds every time we go and visit school districts or we see children that we know that we're attempting to educate and are educating in the state of Mississippi. So as you return today and begin to celebrate that season, any little thing you can do to help with that, I know is much appreciated by many families in our state. So, Kate, you're solo today. Crosby evidently left the country for some reason. So, no, his family is on vacation. So, Kate, our student representative, how about the report from your world?
All right. So, I've just closed out the first semester of my senior year as of yesterday. I took the last half of my final, so I'm very grateful to be done with that. Just a few key points in my month. We competed at the MHSAA dance state competition last Friday, and both of our routines placed second, which is a first for Lafayette High School, so we're very proud to bring home some hardware. And next, yesterday I found out that I was accepted into the Honors College at Ole Miss, thanks to some rec letters. Thank you. Thanks to some help from Mr. Jacobs, he wrote one of my rec letters, so thank you to him. But I also have been working on some different scholarships and different essays and stuff. So I wanted to share one scholarship that felt appropriate to what we do here, which is about future-focused education. So when I was in 7th grade, one of the elective classes I took was a personal leadership class. And my teacher, his name was Coach Ashley, made us well, not made us. Well, we all read as a class the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. And we memorized the habits and would have like quizzes trying to list out all the habits and explain what they meant in the context of real world. And I always remembered the second habit because it was on a huge poster in the hallway of our middle school that has just stuck with me. And it's begin with the end in mind. And it reminds me what we do here, really, at MDE and in the entirety of the educational system set in place in Mississippi. And education is really defined as the act of teaching knowledge to others. But why do we teach? Why did Coach Ashley want us to memorize all 7 of those highly effective habits? And the simplest answer would be to prepare them. Education equips individuals with the tools they need to navigate the challenges of tomorrow. And education has always been built for the future. And this can be reflected through this piece of paper that we all have, the strategic plan that we all know so well. The first goal is that all students should be proficient and show growth in assessed areas, including standardized tests like the ACT and different state assessments. But by focusing on what educators are teaching and how they are teaching it, we can evaluate whether students benefit from these methods. High-performing students are better prepared to handle life's challenges, whether they pursue college or career or something different. And this leads into the second goal, ensuring that every student graduates from high school ready for college and career. And the ability to perform well on assessments correlates directly with the skills students will need in the future. A high school diploma can open doors, but readiness for the next step, whether it's college or career, is what truly sets students up for success. The third goal focuses on ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality early education program. Research shows that learning core concepts in early childhood is far easier than trying to learn them later in life. By laying a strong educational foundation at an early age, Mississippi can provide its students with a significant advantage for the future. And early childhood education is key to equipping the next generation with the tools that they need. However, all of these goals can only be achieved through the fourth strategic goal, ensuring that every school has effective teachers and leaders. Effective teaching and leadership are essential for fostering a learning environment where students can thrive. Students often mirror the passion and dedication of their teachers, and when they see their educators committed to learning, they develop a similar enthusiasm. This cycle of passion, commitment, and efficacy is crucial for long-term educational success. But educational leadership doesn't necessarily only apply to adults. It can empower students as well by providing different leadership opportunities for the young people in the state, including what I do and our State Superintendent Advisory Council. We can give students a platform to take a stand on social and educational issues. By continuing to support these students and expanding leadership opportunities, we can help them become effective leaders in the classroom and the workplace later on. And in our rising technological age, many fear the consequences with education often being at the forefront of these discussions. In the future, with different artificial intelligence and everyday life, education officials must learn to navigate the challenges ahead. By using AI as an advantage instead of banning it altogether will benefit everyone, such as different cool tools from Khan Academy. They have an AI called Khan Me Go, and it can guide students through different problems without directly revealing the answer. And the key to navigating the future technology-oriented world is to learn how to use it and effectively, not necessarily banning it altogether. And in conclusion, future-focused education will undoubtedly look different from today due to the rapid pace and change of technology, society, and global dynamics. But the core principles of education, preparing students for the challenges of tomorrow, will remain constant. As we move forward, we must continue to keep the end in mind, ensuring that our educational system adapts while staying true to its purpose of preparing students for a successful future. Thank you.
All right, great job. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Dr. Evans would like to go back and make one little more point in his report for the state superintendent at this point. So, Dr. Evans, you have the show.
I just completely read right past it. So my goal is always to get through that because it's a lengthy thing as quick as possible, but I need to ask Mr. Farrell. He's going to bring you a quick information update on something with the District of Transformation.
And as he comes up, let's make sure Dr. McGehee, if you could state your name and tell us where you are so we know that you're official. I know you've been with us now for about 25 minutes, but let's make sure we can make that happen for the minutes.
Absolutely. Ronnie McGehee, Franklin, North Carolina.
So the other question we have before the meeting, I'm going to ask again, are you doing like a little Hallmark movie or something up there? The background is great and looking good.
We are.
Thank you. Okay, John.
Thank you, Dr. Evans. Say good morning to the State School Board. Just want to take about 1 minute of your time and give you a piece of information from the Office of School and District Transformation. In concordance with Mississippi Code 3717 6.1, we are in the process of making the transition from the Mississippi Achievement School District from one school district over two separate schools and to making that transition to two separate school districts. In the code, this is to be done by July 1, 2025, but the main piece of information I wanted y'all to know is that by the end of January, we're going to put out advertisements for a superintendent position for the school district that currently will not have a superintendent. So that's the main piece of information I wanted y'all to know about as we make that transition in accordance with the Mississippi Code. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Jacobs, Mr. Jacobs, we've all learned today that if you need a good letter to get into a school, you have a little newspaper guy come up there and write that for you. So thank you very much. You've got a report from Internal Accountability.
We had a meeting this morning, had a full committee there with Matt and Billie Jean were there, and we had a discussion on the OSA's 2023 single audit management report, audit of which they did find a very minor finding that we have resolved, and we had another finding of two school districts that were late with their reports, and we did not concur with that. And let me give you a little background there. Back in February 23, the state auditor, OSA, notified MDE of a shortage of CPA firms throughout Mississippi to do audits, which is a major problem, which means our school districts, many of them can't get their audits done. They're supposedly working to figure out how to do this, but there aren't a lot of auditors out there. So bottom line is we get dinged a little bit for some of this, but we need to find a solution. The two particular school districts were late because of the auditors couldn't get it done. One of them in particular, the auditor resigned from doing it, and they had to find a new auditor in the middle. One of the problems is they gave us today a summary of all the different districts of the violations starting in 2014 through 2023. And about 2020, we were cleaning it up pretty well. But because of COVID and everything else and this shortage, it's gotten worse. 2021, we have 19% delinquent reports. 22, we have 67% delinquent. 2023, 73% delinquent. So this problem is building on that, and it's really not our fault, and it's not the school district's fault. So we're hoping OSA will help find a solution to that. Add to that, Sonia's team is backed up with doing all these audits, and she's two auditors short. So we have to get these things done, and if we don't, we get dinged, and there's some severe penalties from the federal if we don't get it done. So there's a lot of work to be done on that and some concern, but we do need some help from OSA to find some auditors to do these things. I don't know how that solution is. The other items, we approved the appointments of the ad hoc steering committee for the recruitment of our junior representative for the board, and that we'll be meeting here in May and report back to y'all in July. I might add one thing. If any of y'all watched the Army-Navy game this past week, one of our, who did not make the representative, plays on the Army team, and it's from Brookhaven. And even though they don't make it, we have some mighty good ones here. The other ones are pretty good too. And,
most definitely.
And hats off to him. But I think that's all we have.
Thank you, sir. Great job. Let's begin our action items if we can. So we're looking for approval of a temporary rule and to begin the Administrative Procedures Act process to provide Mississippi Code 191, Mississippi Early Learning Guidelines for classrooms serving 3- and 4-year-old children, to amend the criteria regarding the rate of readiness determination to hold harmless, a hold harmless grant if a program does not successfully meet the score and is placed on probation for the 25-26 academic year. So I think we have one that our presentation today is going to try to speak, and then we're going to pass it on to somebody else to finish it off. Is that the way I understand that, Doctor?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go right ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. East, Dr. Evans, and board members. I'm going to pass this off to Dr. Dent in just a minute because my voice is a little under the weather today. Normally, when we ask for something for APA, you see it on the consent agenda, but since this is a temporary rule that will go into effect this year, we put it on here for an action item for you today. So I'm going to let Dr. Dent explain why we're asking for this temporary rule.
Good morning, Mr. East, Dr. Evans, and board members. This item was brought to the subcommittee in September on the 16th during that meeting. We're bringing this item to you today for approval for a temporary rule to hold harmless grant programs that are placed on probation during the 25-26 academic year only that year. Child assessments will be conducted this year. The class observations will take place. Monitoring is going to still occur, and our programs are going to receive the results of those outcomes. The Office of Early Childhood needs to modify the program quality assessment component in the early learning guidelines to adjust the measurement of quality for the change of the child assessment and to assist the programs with improvement plans. With this assistance, programs will be provided extra support to implement best practices in the classroom. And this change for the upcoming year is best for districts so that children will still have the access to the high-quality pre-kindergarten programs. The Office of Early Childhood has also been working to revise the guidelines, the early learning guidelines, and it will be in place during the 25-26 academic year, and it will be an upcoming item on the agenda for you in early 2025.
So as we assess this year, that will determine whether they're on probation or not for next year. And you know, we have a new assessment in pre-K and kindergarten this year. So that's why we're asking for this temporary rule, so that we can still provide the support, but a hold harmless if that puts them on probation with a new assessment.
If I could add one thing, this has been brought through legal to make sure that we're not in violation of any of the code that's associated back with it. So that was.
Under the Office of Chief Accommodations Officer, do I have a motion to approve item 1 on our agenda?
Second.
And Mr. Pruitt, Ms. Werner. All right, any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dr. Vanderford, Educator Workforce Development Update. He heard you. Working on the air conditioner. Where's the air conditioner?
Yeah. Use my haircut.
What's in the back? We're good. All right, Dr. Vanderford, we're ready to roll.
Good morning.
Somebody's talking about how cold it is here. I told them we're practicing for winter around here. So
Trying to make me feel bad about it. Please, can we have a vote for everybody that thinks the air conditioner needs to be turned off?
Good thing you didn't say.
camping weather, Mr. Pruitt, camping weather. Go ahead, Dr. Vanderford.
Good morning. I could have remained seated because I'm going to immediately turn the presentation over to Dr. Van Cleve to give you an overview of the educator shortage survey for the 2020 for 24-25 school year, and then she'll discuss some strategies that we have in place based on those survey results.
Good morning again, and thank you for the opportunity to share today's educator workforce update. As always, we'll begin with our vision and mission, along with this item's alignment to our strategic plan goals. As you know, it is our vision and mission to create a world-class educational system so that all students are prepared to compete in the global community. Within that, we see a strong educator workforce is critical to achieving all of our goals, as noted earlier, even as is central to Goal 4. Every school has effective teachers and leaders. So then, today's item really does reflect part of our ongoing commitment to engaging with stakeholder feedback across Mississippi's educator career continuum. If you'll remember back in October, you heard from educators in terms of their perceptions regarding the teacher recruitment and retention survey. And today you'll actually hear from district leaders in terms of where we stand currently with Mississippi's educator workforce, both as a real recognition of the challenges we face and also as an opportunity to highlight some of the strategies that continue to place us at the cutting edge of educator workforce development statewide. So with that, going now into our 2024-2025 Educator Shortage Survey as a brief overview. The Office of Teaching and Leading launched the Educator Shortage Survey on August 20th, 2024. It then closed on November 1st, 2024. For the fourth year running, 100% of Mississippi's traditional public school districts completed the survey, which collected teacher, administrator, and school support staff vacancies, along with district-generated shortage strategies. This next slide will give you an overview of the various classifications we look at across Mississippi's educator workforce. To orient you a bit to the table, the totals for each of those classifications are listed at the bottom of each column. And then what you'll actually see is the change over time. So both in comparison to our initial survey administration in the 21-22 school year, and then in comparison to last year's survey results for 23-24. Kind of as a high-level overview, what we're seeing here is that teacher and licensed educator vacancies are indeed down since our initial survey administration. However, we are seeing upticks in those areas since last year's survey results. Now, on the other hand, administrator vacancies and support staff vacancies have continued to decline over time in the short and long term. The other way we look at vacancies is we then shift gears towards grade levels and subject areas. And so to orient you to the following slides, these tables are going to show you the results for each of our survey administration, ending in this year's results with 24-25. Here again, the final two columns are going to show you the change in terms of the long and short term. So it'll show you the change in comparing this year's results to our initial survey results for the 4-year change. And then the final column will compare this year's results to the previous year's results. So to tease that out with an example, upper elementary does indeed remain a large area of need in the state. However, we have continued to see declines in the short and long term. Now, on the other hand, pre-K vacancies, while smaller by comparison, we have continued to see increases in the short and long term. When we look at middle school vacancies, math remains our great area of need here at 130 all areas. With high school, we do see more variability, however. That being said, one general trend is that STEM, any of kind of our STEM associated science, technology, engineering, mathematics related areas are an area of need. You'll see that continuing into here where we have algebra that has continued to see increases over time. Another, as we look towards K-12 teacher vacancies, special education has remained one of our largest areas of vacancies, and it saw the largest year-over-year increase in terms of the vacancies reported by superintendents and/or their designees. We also then roll this information up to gather regional pictures. So this slide shows the teacher vacancies as reported by congressional district. You'll see the total number of teacher vacancies is the top number, and then the following one is going to compare to last year's survey results with increases noted in that purplish color and decreases noted in blue. When we turn to K-12 licensed educator vacancies, we have continued to see some increases in speech language vacancies, even as administrator vacancies have continued to remain smaller and decreasing over time. With support staff vacancies, this is going to continue that trend that we are seeing with a 4-year decrease in the number of vacancies across all roles, even as we do see some slight upticks in terms of the results since last year's results were reported. With that being said, in terms of the vacancies noted, we always want to ensure our strategies are indeed aligned to current needs. And so with that being said, taking a close look at the respondents we heard from district leaders as well as the results themselves. We are aiming to address the primary challenges that we have heard in terms of this year's survey administration. So these 3 strategies will be guiding our work in the year ahead. More so specifically, in an effort to increase teacher recruitment statewide, we are excited to launch the Educator Talent Portal in Mecca this year. At no cost to districts, this portal will allow them to advertise open positions both statewide and nationally. It will allow interested applicants to browse positions by grade level, by subject area, and will also allow us to continue some of the surveying functionality that we currently perform in order to have an ongoing pulse on educator workforce needs. In an effort to address some of the subject-specific shortages that we noted earlier, the Office of Teaching and Leading is collaborating across MDE offices and stakeholders to conduct a comprehensive policy review of current educator licensure guidelines with a particular focus on elementary education, special education, and mathematics education, given some of the trends noted here today. And then finally, with the continued support from Dr. Evans, we are also in the process, as noted earlier, of developing Mississippi Leads. So the Leading Education Achievement in District and Schools Leads initiative is MDE's structured focus on effective leadership development. It includes some of the efforts mentioned earlier, but not limited to Mississippi Superintendent Institute, MDE-approved orientation to school leadership trainings, and a standards review of the Mississippi Administrator Growth System in an effort to support our teachers by supporting our leaders. And so with that, happy to address any questions or comments.
Sir.
I've got a couple. First, your slide 13 with the regional, that was very interesting. 2 things. Would it help communicate this to others outside of the educational world if we express these vacancies as a percentage of total positions in high school field, rather than saying I'm down, show as a percentage, and you could track it as a percentage? That seems like that would make more sense to me. Sure. Then I've got another question. Even though you do the historical, that's just a question. The other is, do you have tracking for all of these against teacher salaries? Can you correlate? And there has been some growth in teacher pay with, I mean, is there, if I'm a legislator and I'm voting on salary increase and I'm hearing the pressure in the public and that kind of stuff, I want to know, am I making a difference or am I not making a difference? That would be helpful to me. Are those legitimate questions about the information?
Absolutely. I think they're both kind of legitimate questions and points, and that's one thing we always reiterate is kind of as we hear year over year feedback, our reporting and our results change. At this point in time, we essentially we're excited by the fact that 100% of districts have continued year over year. It's certainly a team effort on that side, and at the same time, really looking at those data points over time to kind of start to have a more accurate sense of trend analysis too, I think.
As your populations change, your total number of teacher units for a particular subject area and age are going to change too. That would be, so, pardon, what do you regard in your report early on as a traditional, what did you call it, a traditional school district? I mean, I think I know what that means, but maybe I don't.
In terms of our reporting, it is for non-charter schools. So all of our non-charter public school districts did report in.
Thank you. I was wrong.
Thank you very much for your work. That report is very powerful. I think Mr. Pruitt has noticed the change in the district board numbers. I will tell you that has been kind of real for that district this year for some strange reason. I think hopefully it will begin to decline and be back where it used to be. It is an interesting, slide 13, as Mr. Pruitt says, very interesting document this time around. So thank you. Mr. Kramer, contract that you need us to approve. Well, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Miss Gavin, you're up.
Mr. Kramer is chopping at the bit to come up and approve of, but I'll spare you all.
Isn't it wonderful to be in the Christmas season? All in favor say aye. Dr. Gavin, you have the floor for the next two then, however.
Good morning. We do have one contract coming before the board for approval this morning, and it is a contract with Dell Marketing to provide for Microsoft Premier and Unified Support Services for the Office of OTSS to support our Microsoft products.
May I have a motion to accept? I got you as the second, Mr. McGehee. Mr. Mayo beat you to it. So we got Mr. All right. Any questions or comments for Dr. Gavin? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Action item 4A, we have one grant coming before the board for approval, and it is for the 21st Century Learning Centers program under ESSA. We have $12.5 million available to supply supplemental grant funds to several districts, as you see attached to board item 4A.
May I have a motion to approve item 4? Mayor?
I have a question.
I'm going to get to those. Go ahead, Dr. McGee.
Dr. Gavin, did the grant recipients apply for this, or was it discretion of our staff?
No, they applied. Every district, every existing cohort had the opportunity to submit a short application to apply.
How many total boys and girls clubs do we have across the state? And they do a very important job in our locations, trying to recruit kids. And I see that we have good boys and girls clubs on the list we're seeing.
How many total across the state? I do not have that information. Judy, do you know? I'm not sure how many we have across the entire state. But all that applied did receive funds.
Okay, so they all did apply. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
May I have a second? Thank you, Mike. All right, Matt. Any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we've got our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve items A through N on the consent agenda? Miller, second? Go. Any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a consideration for executive session?
I move the board consider making a closed determination of the need to go into executive session.
We have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Warner, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I would
Am I good? The board has voted to go into executive session for discussion of discrete personnel matters in accordance with Mississippi Code annotated Section 254174A and K, discussion and strategy sessions or negotiations with respect to prospective litigation, ongoing litigation, or issuance of an appealable order in accordance with Mississippi Code annotated Section 254174B, and discussion of discrete matters involving a student and/or parent in accordance with Mississippi Code annotated Section 244174H.
anybody that needs approval to attend a meeting? Is there any other business that we need to take care of? The January board meeting will be held on January the 16th, 2025 in Jackson, Mississippi at the Central High School building in the 4th floor boardroom starting at 10 o'clock a.m. Motion to adjourn. Billie Jean, you want to make that motion? Go. Question?
You got to do your other business.
Your other business.
Other business.
Come on up here for other business.
Your statement that you had from Jean and Holly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not on that piece of paper, on the,
No, this is, look, I haven't
Here, I
done
got
well.
you.
This meeting started
I
off
got
with all the chaos at the, I got it right here. I'm
yeah,
with you.
here you go.
Thank you. Before adjourning, we did establish a subcommittee during our executive session. The purpose of this subcommittee is to explore the future growth of the Mississippi School for Math and Science. It started off with the computer not working.
There you
I haven't recovered yet. I'll have to,
no,
and then on the 16th, I'll be in
you're
better
good.
shape there. Huh? All right, now, motion to adjourn. We got it. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Merry Christmas.